Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah.
Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
We'll be on the air in just a minute.
Do you want immune advice from a licensed professional with 30 plus years experience?
I got stopped by every red light today and a commuter train. I just walked in 3 minutes ago to the radio station.
Janet Cimarelli, licensed nutrition counselor. Call me at
Almost over my cold, which is good news.
Marketplace for your free counseling. 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851.
Here we go.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by at the Siegel Walker. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Walker with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 855-FLA-3782.
Showtime. Good morning, everyone. Make sure you like the video if you're new. Subscribe. I'll give a Sarah update in just a bit when some more people are in here.
Go-Gain. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN. And now.
Hey guys, welcome. Yes, welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, and man, do we have a lot to talk about on the program this morning. And of course, we will be taking your calls at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. No matter where you're listening to us, you can call us toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You know, I thought that this Christmas prank on Biden, where the father got on the line and said, "Let's go, Brandon," I thought that was just a moment that was going to disappear from the news cycle. And the reason I thought it would disappear from the news cycle is not because it's embarrassing. Biden even said it himself. But I thought it would disappear from the news cycle because it's frightening. It's frightening. He had never heard the catchphrase before. He never heard the meme. He even said it himself, and it went all over the place. And when a story happens over a holiday period, you can get away with ignoring it and moving on to other things. But the mainstream media and the liberals will not let it go. They will not let it go. And this is part of a long-term plan. It's been going on for almost a year now, right? Since January 6th, 7th. And the left, the mainstream media, the Republican establishment, they're trying to outlaw the MAGA movement. They're making moves over a period of time in their fantasies where they will be able to officially declare that the MAGA movement is separate and apart from the Republican Party, which is absurd, but that it is a hate group, a domestic terrorist group, and outlaw it. And I know that sounds crazy in America, but that's the America we are in right now. They're terrified of President Trump's return to the midterm election stage, campaigning around the country with rallies for people. They're more terrified about 2024 and beyond. And they want the MAGA movement to go away, and it hasn't happened. They don't get it. They don't understand it. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, Trump is more popular, MAGA is stronger. So now what they're trying to do is cancel the MAGA movement, and they've got several different operations going on, but but most of it revolves around exploiting the Capitol breach, using the Capitol breach as a way to outlaw MAGA. I know, it's insane. So this guy, he called in. You saw the call. Let me just play it for you because we're going to talk about it. Let me see. I'll play the original call. This is the call of the father on the line with Joe and Jill Biden with the NORAD Christmas calls, and he trolled Biden.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Okay, so Biden even said it, and as I was saying, for him to say it, could you imagine if something like this happened to President Trump, like happened with Biden? They'd be talking about 25th Amendment and impeachment, that he's unfit for office. What's most frightening about that is Biden himself had never heard it before, didn't know what was going on. He thought he was being complimented, and he said it himself. Jill Biden, on the other hand, if you see the look on her face, she's flipped out. Now, the guy in question has done some interviews. He was on with Bannon yesterday. He was on Newsmax last night on the Greg Kelly show on Newsmax TV, and he's making the circuits now. And he's a MAGA guy. He's a MAGA guy. I knew as soon as I heard the call that this guy was in trouble. They were going to go after him. Well, now, Nicole Wallace, who's supposedly a Republican, she worked for John McCain. She worked for him during the 2008 campaign. And my guess is most of the negative information that leaked out of the McCain-Palin campaign that was negative on Sarah Palin probably came from Nicole Wallace. Nicole Wallace, she's a Republican. She's over on MSNBC. She used to be on The View. And she had a panel, and they're actually talking about a federal law enforcement investigation into this guy with his prank call. Now, you know, this is America, and she's not alone, by the way. They're doing this elsewhere too, but what I'm going to share with you now is from Nicole Wallace and MSNBC. They want an FBI investigation into this guy. You know, this is similar to what happened to Joe the Plumber back in the 2008 campaign. Senator Obama, don't you wish it was still Senator Obama? Senator Obama, you know, was doing that, walking down the street, and Joe the Plumber went up and asked him a question, and nothing wrong with the question, perfectly fair question. And Obama gave an answer right out of Mao's little red book. Sometimes you got to spread the wealth around, freak people out. Wow, everyone's got to have skin in the game. You got to spread the wealth around, and it freaked people out. And Obama's answer exposed him. So what did they do? They went out to destroy the life and reputation of Joe the Plumber. Similar things going on here. So let's get into this. Let me play this. So this is Nicole Wallace's segment yesterday on this prank phone call. And I find this really scary. I was talking on the show last week on one topic. I was talking to some callers, and I said, you know, America is not a free country like it was a year ago. It's not. It's not. And this is an example of it, that discussions like this are happening on NBC News. This is NBC News, Nicole Wallace. This isn't some fringe channel online or some stream that someone's doing from their basement. This is NBC News, MSNBC, but it's part of NBC News. Listen to this.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Here comes Nicole.
So you heard there was an Oregon dad, his 4 kids. He's a self-described free-thinking American, a follower of Jesus Christ. He called into NORAD's.
You see how she says that? And a follower of Jesus Christ. Like, that's a negative. What the heck does that... Why is she bringing out his religion? Followers of Jesus don't criticize Joe Biden? Little Christian bigotry there, Nicole Wallace.
Agree.
Wow.
So you heard there was an Oregon dad, his 4 kids. He's a self-described free-thinking American, a follower of Jesus Christ. He called into NORAD's Santa Tracking Center on Christmas Eve. And what he said to President Joe Biden means F. Joe Biden in very, very, very thinly coded right-wing lexicon.
Yes, that's what it means, F. Joe Biden. And Joe Biden said it himself. Let me tell you, the first president I saw in person was Bush 41, Bush the father, and I was at an event. He had flown. It's been a long time because he was president then. He was in office. I mean, the first president I saw while they were president, it was, I want to say, Fort Lauderdale. I was very excited, and somebody we worked with at the radio station at the time, remember Rick Siderman? Rick Siderman was friends with the Bush family, and he actually introduced Bush 41 at this event in Fort Lauderdale. So I had an in, even though Rick didn't like me. But I got an in because he didn't like me, but he wanted to show off, so he got me in. So Bush 41 comes by in the limousine, and you know how the presidential limousine has the big glass windows? This guy next to me, when we were right in the front line, really close to Bush 41, gave him the middle finger and held it out, and it was like so close to Bush 41, gave him the middle finger right to his head. I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe. And I remember Bush 41 saw it, and he just waved at the guy. It was pretty funny at the time. You know, if the internet had been invented and iPhones and things were around, I'd have a video of that, and that would have gone viral. There'd be like 15 million views to that. And, you know, presidents are always attacked personally in nasty ways. How many times was F Trump said? They didn't even have code words for it. They just said F Trump. They said the whole word. Now all of a sudden, you say something about Joe Biden, and NBC News wants the federal government to investigate you.
Tracking center on Christmas Eve. And when he said that President Joe Biden means F Joe Biden.
Yes, it does.
Very, very, very thinly coded right-wing lexicon. That grown man, Jared Schmeck, later told the Oregonian that the comment was meant in jest before whining for days now about being attacked for utilizing his freedom of speech. The story could have ended there, though, right? But he went on Steve Bannon's broadcast today, or podcast, whatever he has, and there he was.
I bet you more people watch Steve Bannon every day than watch Nicole Wallace on the lowly rated MSNBC. What do you think? Who has more eyes watching them every day? Steve Bannon or Nicole Wallace? What do you think?
Jared Schmeck, wearing his MAGA hat. Ellis, does this sound like someone who was saying something in jest?
Let's Go Brandon is more than just F Joe Biden. Let's Go Brandon encompasses the entirety of our frustration with Joe Biden, the administration, the leftist mob, the cancel culture, the mainstream media. They're the ones who made this thing. And we're able, as conservatives, we're able to find humor in this, but there's terrible things going on.
I don't know where to start. Let me tell you why this matters.
Let me tell you why this matters. Hear the tone? Let me tell you why this matters. As if you're not smart enough to understand it on your own. She's going to tell you why this matters.
As conservatives, we're able to find humor in this, but there's terrible things going on.
I don't know where to start. Let me tell you why this matters. The asymmetry has always been what advantages the Trump right more than anything else. And the asymmetry of saying F you to a sitting president on a call in front of your 4 kids.
He didn't, by the way, he did not say that. He used coded language. Like a lot of times parents, when they're going to swear, they'll say the first letter or maybe spell it. He didn't use the word Nicole Wallace. By the way, I wonder if she has kids. Does she have kids? Because she's giving parenting advice. He used coded language, which is something parents often do.
Look past this. Don't look at this as a story about giving airtime to a MAGA guy who goes on Steve Bannon's podcast and said, I wasn't joking. Not only did I say, F you, Mr. President, I said more than that. This is the slow motion insurrection, Jason.
Wow, the slow motion insurrection. See, now, this is what I'm talking about. We're in a new phase in Biden's America. To criticize the government is now an insurrection. You are no longer permitted to criticize the government of the United States, at least not when Democrats are running it. If you do, you're taking part in an insurrection. Now let's move on from insurrection to this question. How would you like to look better? How would you like to feel better? How would you like to get your sex drive back? How would you like to have your ability to perform, guys, returned to you? We're talking about another kind. We're not talking about insurrection. We're talking about another kind of word that kind of rhymes with that one. I'm not going to say it, although I could. Women, how would you like to have all those things I mentioned, your sex drive back, your energy back? How would you like to have all of the signs and symptoms of menopause completely stopped and reversed? Night sweats gone, mood swings gone, vaginal dryness gone and reversed. You can have all that and a lot more with hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation. I've been a patient of Dr. Matez for 5 years now, and I know many of you are too. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will change your life. It's always a completely free consultation with Dr. Matez, but you got to mention you heard him on the radio. Here's the number, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. Dr. Mitch Matez at the BioStation. Call and talk to him about, yes, hormone replacement pellet therapy. We'll be right back after this.
Do you want immune advice from a licensed professional with 30 plus years experience? Someone who's counseled thousands of clients, developed nutrient formulas, and is available at no charge. That's me, Janet Cimarelli, licensed nutrition counselor. Call me at AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at Festival Marketplace for your free counseling appointment. 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great
Steve Kane
deals
Show.
on new and used tires. I have many suppliers.
Steve Kane Show.
Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you
Steve Kane Show.
deals on any tire. I also
Hold on.
do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Brian Craig here. You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great job Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting did on his new roof. We have on the line John from Wellington, one of our regular callers. He just had his roof repaired by Laporta Contracting, and he wanted to share his experience.
Thanks to the Steve
Well, thank you.
Kane Show,
Yeah, this shirt's in my shirt store, brianshirts.com.
Laporta Contractors. They were fast, professional, and the
There's a link in the description of the video to my shirt store.
roof repaired, and upon initial inspection, they were honest and told me that my roof was good and I didn't need a new one. I called many roofers and they were all scammers. They all wanted to put on a new roof and they said they wouldn't repair what I had. Thanks, Brian. Another fantastic sponsor.
Wow, that's an amazing testimonial from John in Wellington. Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting will never sell you a roof that you don't need. Give him a call for a no-charge inspection of your roof. 954-604-4602. That number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right. We are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Okay, so let me finish up with Nicole Wallace. If you're on hold, stand by. So Nicole Wallace did a segment last night on the Let's Go Brandon phone call with the dad to Joe and Jill. And she's telling us, let me just rewind it a little bit. She's telling us that criticism of Joe Biden is part of the insurrection.
Hey, well, yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
So you heard there was an Oregon dad, his 4 kids. He's a self-described free-thinking American, a follower of Jesus Christ. He called into NORAD's Santa Tracking Center on Christmas Eve. And what he said to President Joe Biden means F. Joe Biden. Very, very, very thinly coded right-wing lexicon. That grown man, Jared Schmeck, later told the Oregonian that the comment was meant in jest before whining for days now about being attacked for utilizing his freedom of speech. The story could have ended there, though, right? But he went on Steve Bannon's broadcast today, or podcast, whatever he has, and there he was, George Schmeck, wearing his MAGA hat. Ellis, does this sound like someone who was saying something in jest?
Let's Go Brandon is more than just F. Joe Biden. Let's Go Brandon encompasses the entirety of our frustration with Joe Biden, the administration, the leftist mob, the cancel culture, the mainstream media. They're the ones who made this thing. And we're able, as conservatives, we're able to find humor in this. But there's terrible things going on.
I don't know where to start. Let me tell you why this matters. The asymmetry has always been what advantages the Trump right more than anything else. And the asymmetry of saying F you to a sitting president on a call in front of your 4 kids. Don't look past this. Don't look at this as a story about giving airtime to a MAGA guy who goes on Steve Bannon's podcast and said, I wasn't joking. Not only did I say F you, Mr. President, I said more than that. This is the slow motion insurrection.
This is the slow motion insurrection. See, now criticism of the president, criticism of the federal government is now an insurrection. We are now officially not a free country, according to MSNBC.
Jason in full color.
Yeah, Nicole, and here's the thing. There is nothing more entertaining to me than people whose names I had never heard of 4 days ago saying, I'm canceled, as they're being amplified, right? That's the thing. He wants to complain about cancel culture. Dude, I didn't know who this schmuck was like
wow.
I was 5 days ago, right? Now I know who he is, but he's being canceled. He's going to have T-shirts, and he's going to show up at, like, Turning Point next week.
Good.
Else like that.
If he's there and I see him, I'll buy one.
Giving speeches with Kyle Rittenhouse. So that's the hypocrisy of it all. But the more dangerous thing, as you're pointing to, is the fact that all of these people are basically just insurrectionists in training now, right? Like, if you wanted to say, look, presidents hear insulting things all the time. People said rude things to George Bush. Larry Wilmore made a highly inappropriate joke right next to Barack Obama, right? Like, people can say rude things to the president. That's not the issue.
Oh.
These people are speaking. They're not joking. MAGA isn't about taxes. Let's go bring...
By the way, it's MAGA, not MAGA. He's calling it MAGA. It's MAGA. I think he's got it confused with manga, which is the Japanese anime.
And it isn't about what you feel about supply chain issues and gas. It is the cry of insurrectionists. It is the cry of people who want to violently take over this country and oppress anyone who is not like them. And that's what makes this dangerous. And to the degree that Joe Biden can laugh it off or anything else like that, that's fine. But I hope that we have a Justice Department and an FBI and a CIA that investigates where the anger that leads to these kinds of statements comes through.
Wow. So now, this is MSNBC, Nicole Wallace yesterday, NBC News. They want the FBI and the CIA to investigate this guy. Now, I thought the CIA, maybe I've watched too many movies, but the CIA, are they not, I thought they weren't allowed to operate and investigate U.S. citizens. Are they calling on the CIA to investigate U.S. citizens who don't like Joe Biden? Who criticize Joe Biden? How about investigate this? How did this guy get on the phone? Do you see, this would never have happened to President Trump because President Trump is surrounded by competent people that wouldn't let something like this happen. You don't allow the President of the United States to take cold calls on the on television, on the air like that. I do it here on the show. My calls are unscreened. I don't screen the calls. We take them cold. But I'm not the President of the United States. Although I think President Trump would do fine if he had a troll. Let's investigate who's responsible for this call getting through. What an idiot that is, huh?
Because these people have already attacked us with guns. You think they're going to come back and do something less?
Who attacked who with guns? He said these people, manga, it's MAGA, but he calls us manga. I like Japanese anime, by the way. Attack on Titan is awesome. But he said, we attacked them with... Who's he talking about?
Aggressive next time if they feel they can speak this way to the president? I don't think so.
The First Amendment protects what's his name? Schmeck's right to say what he said. I celebrate that. He's well within his rights, Claire.
But
those rights...
There it is. But I respect the First Amendment, but...
Speak this way to the president? I don't think so.
The First Amendment protects what's his name? Schmeck's right to say what he said. I celebrate that. He's well within his rights, Claire.
Oh, gee, thank you.
Those rights are in danger by what he said to Steve Bannon, right? Supporting autocracy, supporting, he said Donald Trump is...
Wow.
Protections. And the people who seem to be using the hell out of the First Amendment are the ones who are as sort of tantalized by moving away from the democracy that provides those freedoms. Is that too elite way to look at it? I mean, do you think any of them understand the irony of that, Claire?
You know, this whole thing I find incredibly sad. This was Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And this is a man who...
Oh, now notice how the liberals are all of a sudden into respecting Christmas. They've been trying to rid our society of Christmas for 20 years, and now all of a sudden they have these high Christmas standards that we must go by.
Purports to believe in Jesus Christ. Well, this is a holiday that is supposed to be completely saturated with the notion of joy and peace on earth and goodwill towards men and the teachings of Jesus Christ, which is all about taking care of the least among us and the golden rule and being kind to others.
Yeah, communism.
This man, knowing what would happen on national television in a call, says F you.
No, he did not say F you. He used coded language
to the sitting president, who is trying to lift him up on Christmas Eve and his children. That's just sad. That's pathetic. That's just what it is. And it is not what the holiday is about. It is the antithesis of what the holiday is supposed to be about. And I find it completely wrong that we've gotten to a point in this country that anybody is ever comfortable saying F you to a sitting president.
He didn't say F you, okay? Again, he used coded language.
No matter what the circumstances.
And Biden said it himself after. So why aren't they, if it's wrong for the father to say it, how shouldn't it be even more wrong for Biden to say it?
Much less on Christmas Eve in front of his children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is who we are, though.
Yes, it is. It's who we are. It's, you know, Justice Scalia, great justice of the Supreme Court, Scalia, he said once it was a ruling involving pornography, he says you don't need the First Amendment to protect popular speech. You need the First Amendment to protect unpopular speech. Now, I think with the Let's Go Brandon's popular speech, but they don't like the speech, so all of a sudden it's hate speech. He's an insurrectionist. They're calling on an FBI, CIA investigation of this man on national television, the left. I've been telling you this for a year now almost. They are making the move to outlaw MAGA. They're going to get some organization, some professor, some group, some think tank and they'll use the credibility of it to declare MAGA a domestic hate group and terrorist group and outlaw it. They're trying to make any opposition to them violent. They said he's an insurrectionist because he said that. Political dissent is now insurrection. That was, that's how it was in the Soviet Union, in Nazi Germany. And I don't make those comparisons lightly. A lot of people call everything Nazi and communist. I don't do that. They are ridding us of our free speech. Nothing was wrong with what that guy said. And the real topic should be they should have their doctors. Okay, they should have their doctors that they have on all these national news. Instead of going after that guy, talk about what's going on with Biden, that he was not even aware of the catchphrase, of the meme that's taken America by storm. Let's Go Brandon is the Macarena of today. Right? We're going to take our break. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Back after this.
We all know how beautiful and lush Florida is. With the abundance of
Wesley, $10 super chat. Thank you, thank you. Everyone thank Wesley for that $10 super chat. Good morning, Brian. Wallace is part of the smug, arrogant, and condescending ruling elitist establishment that hate us. Trump opened my eyes to this in the 2016 presidential campaign, MAGA forever. Exactly. Right on, Wesley. Julian, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Julian for that super chat. Do you think this call may have been let go through to create another anti-MAGA tool for the left? No, and the reason I say that is look at Jill Biden's face. Jill actually is sharper than I thought, because she knew long before he was going. Because earlier on in the call, she says, "This is for the kids," she said to him, remember? Steve Kane Show. Hey, Alan.
Call Nathan. He's Steve Kane's personal tree trimmer, and now he wants to work with you. 954-680-7739. He's also available for condos, HOAs, and businesses. 954-680-7739. 954-680-7739. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 954-680-7739.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority.
I need. This is 4 shots of espresso because I'm almost completely over my cold, thankfully. So I'm like 98% over it. I would be 100% over it if I would have gone home and gone to bed yesterday. But I had a ton of work I had to do yesterday. But that's why I didn't have a podcast last night, because I was just so wiped. Kathy and I will have a new podcast today.
Social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of...
Right on, Jacqueline. Right on. You know, I was reading my YouTube comments on Candace Owens and Alex Jones this morning from yesterday's show. There's of the people that are on Alex Jones and Candace Owens' defense, not all of them, but over 80% of them are fake MAGA. You can tell. All right, let's go right back to the phones. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. This is Louis from Plantation.
Hey, Louis.
Hey, what's up? Hey, man, real simple. I remember a time, maybe you discussed it already, when Mr. Robert De Niro said either F you, Trump, or F Trump, something of that sort, but he definitely used the F-bomb.
Oh, yes. Yes, De Niro.
You know.
And I'm really upset at De Niro for that, because I always liked, one of my favorite movies is Heat. I love Heat, Michael Mann with it. And I can't enjoy a Robert De Niro movie anymore since he did those videos.
Yeah, I used to be not to digress too much, I used to be a big De Niro fan, and if I saw him on the streets, I wouldn't care less. I wouldn't...
No, he spoiled it.
Or anything like that. You know, he ruined it for me. But yeah, I mean, getting back to your point about, coded language, I mean...
No, I didn't stop, I cut it back.
Language. His was pretty direct. But we didn't go bonkers on the conservative side as far as I can recall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? And you know, Kathy Griffin. Now, Kathy Griffin, she should have been in jail for what she did. That was illegal, what Kathy Griffin did.
To mention, remember Madonna saying what she did and Johnny Depp?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Language, that was pretty.
Yeah, Johnny Depp was praising another actor of yesteryear, which I'm not going to repeat any of these comments. But yeah, and he hasn't missed a beat. No. These, but now what they said on this wasn't just like some fringe left-wing show somewhere. This is NBC News. They're saying that criticism of Biden is an insurrection and he should be investigated by the FBI and the CIA. This is just a guy somewhere. What are they going to be investigating him for?
Well, it's crazy also because, I mean, these comments that are said, you know, if I said something like this at work, anything, regardless of political affiliation, if I said anything so derogatory and so out there at work and someone found out about it or knew about it, directly or indirectly, I wouldn't have my job in the morning. I'd be blacklisted or I'd lose my job.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel, but these guys, these celebrities, just get back. The people in power get the ability to remain and wake up in the morning, make a living.
Well, what they don't get, and remember, Nicole Wallace there's a Republican. She worked for John McCain, tells you everything you need to know about John McCain. But, they need to, listen, Trump is not a young man. He's not 50. I say 50 is young because I'm 50 now. 50 ain't what it used to be. But, but he's not 50. Just write it out. Now, again, MAGA is going to be here long after Trump. But just write him out. What they're doing is making him stronger and more popular, which, hey, bring it on. That's awesome to me. But they're spoiled children, and they don't understand MAGA. They don't understand our support of President Trump. They don't get it. And this is very scary.
Again, let's go, Brandon. Language, it wasn't F you, that wasn't said, what would you do in a court of law if every time you said, well, this is what he meant? Well, that's not what he said.
Exactly.
Not what he meant, it's what he said. What evidence do you have? He never said F you. He said, let's go, Brandon. How you translate that or in what context you put it in, that's your ball. That's your ball of wax. That's something for us to contend with.
Exactly. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. In Plantation. Oh, man. Plantation. I used to live in Plantation. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
This whole situation with Nicole Wallace and stuff and the Democrats, think about it. It's abject panic, and it was born out of abject panic. Think about it. When Let's Go Brandon first appeared, what was happening? The little reporterette was doing an interview at a NASCAR track, and they were, help Joe Biden at the NASCAR track, right?
No, they were, they were saying, they were actually saying it. They were saying it that not because this was the birth of the coded phrase, yes.
Right, and she panicked. This little reporter panicked because she didn't want it to go over the air or whatever, or maybe she was trying to protect Joe Biden. I don't know, but she panicked, and she said, well, they're cheering for you. It's Let's Go, Brandon.
Well, no, that reporter, I'll give that reporter the benefit of that. She was doing a live interview on, I think it was NBC Sports. So you can't, so she was in a panic that the F word was going out over the air on a live report. So she was trying to cover for that. I'm sure she's a liberal. She's at NBC Sports and all that. But I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She's trying. If somebody is dropping an F-bomb here, I got to hang up and dump them. There's standards and practices in broadcasting. But it gave birth to something like remember way back when the Tea Party was born off of, was that the guy on CNBC that started the Tea Party meme, or was it Fox? I can't remember. Who started the phrase Tea Party? Remember the guy on the floor of the stock exchange?
I think his name was like Centilliers.
Yeah, was he on Fox or CNBC when that happened?
CNBC.
At CNBC's, that's what popped in my mind too. And that began this whole thing. And this began also, I hope it was CNBC, because that means NBC has given us both of these phrases, right? The Let's Go Brandon and Tea Party. They're very good at branding things, coming up with slogans for us to use.
Yeah, and think about this. Didn't Madam Clinton at one point say we have the right to debate and disagree with the administration?
Apparently not when they're a Democrat.
No, apparently not. But she did say that. I'm pretty sure she did. So yeah, and look, this you can tell it's panic because it's you look at Joe Biden's face. There's anger there, but she's panicking.
And she knew. I would say, after all, she's a doctor. She's a brilliant. She knew that this guy was up to something. She knew before he even got there. She knew a few seconds before. That's why she said to him, remember, this is for the kids, she said. This is supposed to be for the kids, she said to him. And then he said, okay, and then he went and did it. But, I find it very scary that when Biden repeated it, he obviously he was not familiar with the phrase, which means there's no good scenario for that. Either he forgot because of his cognitive decline, which, by the way, hormone replacement pellet therapy would turn Biden into a new man. He'd be like the old Biden of the 80s and 90s if he went and met with Dr. Mitch Matez, you know. But either he had forgotten it, or they've never told him about it, and he's had no exposure to it. He's completely unfamiliar with the phrase. It's one of those two.
It's like he's in a bubble.
Mm-hmm. A Biden bubble.
Biden bubble. But that's the thing. This guy, I mean, basically, when he said, "I agree with you," basically what he said is that he agreed with the guy. Basically, he was cursing himself out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said it himself. Yeah, that's right. He said F Joe Biden. Yeah, I know. That's hilarious. This guy is, yes, he will be celebrated by the right. He may be at the next Turning Point event. He may be at the next CPAC. You may see him with Project Veritas. I don't know. He'll make the rounds. And that's fine. It's America. God bless him. I hope he makes a couple bucks while he's doing it.
Yeah, I hope so too. And that's the thing. I wouldn't be at all surprised that if he may show up at one of Trump's rallies.
And how dare Nicole Wallace? Here's Nicole Wallace, a traitor. Beatrice Arnold. I use Beatrice because that's the closest feminine name I can think of to Benedict. Here you got this Beatrice Arnold who's got an entire career going at NBC because she hates Trump. They like a Republican that hates Trump. She's made a whole career, and she was doing it when he was in office. So was she wrong by being critical of him?
Well, yeah, no, I guess in her own mind.
By her own standard, yeah. Hey, Mike in Louisiana. By the way, is it Mike in Louisiana or you said from Louisiana? Are you not in Louisiana? Are you in Louisiana?
I am in Louisiana.
Okay, well, I think your name should be Mike in Louisiana. When you say from, it implies you're from there, but no longer.
Oh, well, yeah, well.
Okay, Mike in Louisiana. Thanks for the call. All right, listen. I got to tell you guys about Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. They've been with us here on the Steve Kane Show for quite some time, and man, let me tell you, it is very, very difficult to find. You know what's almost impossible to find? An honest auto repair shop. That's like impossible, isn't it? Well, we found Champagne Automotive Repair after years and years of searching. And, when Steve and I, every sponsor on this program, either Steve uses them, I use them, or both of us use them. Okay? And every commercial you hear is an endorsement, a personal endorsement from one or both of us. And we both put Champagne Automotive Repair to the test. I had a car that was given to me by my mother. It was my stepfather's car. He passed away. It was a Ford Explorer with over 180,000 miles on it. It had been sitting at my house for like 2 years without being driven. It had problems. It wasn't running. And it was so bad, some of my neighbors put the We Buy Junk Cars on the windshield wipers more than once. Front wiper, back wiper. They wanted me to get rid of this car. And I'm not a hoarder, but, I don't like to give away things that belong to people. I'm sentimental. And I didn't take it to any repair shops because I was afraid. They could tell me anything was wrong with a car that had 180,000 miles on it. So I took it over to Champagne Automotive Repair. They looked at it from bumper to bumper, and it had a leak in the radiator. I needed a new radiator. That's it. Boom. And I drove that car for about a year or so after that, and I sold it, and it's on the road right now. Somebody else is driving it. That's true. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? Still driving. That car was meant for the junkyard, I thought. Champagne Automotive Repair. They could have told me it needed everything under the hood done, and I would have believed them because the car was so old it wasn't running. Steve put them to the test, too. His son, his car needed some work. So what Steve did was, this was very clever, he sent his son, Tyler, over to one of the national chain auto shops. You go over there, you need something done. They diagnose the car. You think you're dealing with a mechanic because he's dressed like a mechanic. You're really dealing with a salesman. And they're going to tell you need everything under the hood, under the carriage, everything done. Everything, right? As much, whatever your credit limit is on your credit card, that's what they tell you need done. So Steve's son, he took his car over to one of those places. There's only a couple of them. You could guess which one, but they all operate the same. It doesn't matter. And they gave him a printout of all the repairs and maintenance that they said that his car needed. Then Steve had his son take his car up to Champaign Automotive, didn't tell them what the other place said, gave them the car, had them look at it bumper to bumper, and it needed a few things done, but the big national chain scammers, they told Steve's son that he needed $843.12 in repairs and maintenance that were not needed. $843.12 in repairs and maintenance that were not needed. That's right. Champaign Automotive Repair will never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle does not need. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. That's Champaign Automotive Repair in Boca. And when you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. All right, we'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers, and Mike Lindell, he's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the MyPillow My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear the slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper and the...
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it. So it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your MyPillow My Slippers 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search WWNN.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. You know, you've seen all the stories of what very well may be the largest migration in this country since the end of the Civil War. When I mean migration, I mean people moving from one state to another for a better life. You know, after the Civil War, there was mass migration. Newly freed slaves going to the north. They had a lot of skills that they learned on the plantation, went north, took all the jobs from the white people, blacksmiths and everything, because they had all these skills from the plantation. But there's a mass migration going on from the liberal states to the conservative states. And this is for a number of reasons, right? It's for freedom and also economic prosperity. You know, people are fleeing these liberal states because Florida, where we're at, Texas, others, don't have state income taxes. We don't shut down every 5 minutes, okay, when somebody gets the sniffles. And yesterday I went to one of my least favorite places, the auto tag renewal office. Oh my goodness. I had to go in person for and it was a nightmare. I get to the auto tag renewal place. I waited in line for an hour, maybe hour and a half, I don't know. And I didn't have anything to do because I went there right after I got off the air yesterday, and my phone was dead almost because I live stream on my phone, and my charger in my car was not working, so I didn't even have my phone to kill time with. I waited in line at least an hour, maybe longer, and I didn't have all the paperwork I needed. Oh my goodness, I had to go back home, get everything, and then come back. But I didn't have to wait in line the second time very long. They just had me wait in line like 20 minutes when I got back. I got to skip a few people. But anyway, I've been to, I know it's a terrible place to go, right? Anything that involves the government is a terrible place to go because they don't care about customer service. They're the government. What are you going to do? Nothing. Right? So they treat you like crap, make you wait. They're not nice. But anyway, This is an office I've been to many times in my life, auto tag renewal office. And what I saw, though, for the first time, I've never seen before in the parking lot, how many out-of-state plates. And I saw sometimes people coming out with in the parking lot, you would see people in the parking lot switching the plates from Pennsylvania, California, other states to Florida plates. And, I've been to the auto tag renewal, I don't know how many times, and you'll see that on occasion, but not like this. Yeah, California plates, a lot of Pennsylvania. I saw a New Mexico plate. I mean, the parking lot was just filled with out-of-state plates at numbers I've never noticed before, and I did see people change their out-of-state plate to a Florida plate. And you know what they look like when they did it? Happy. They're in Ron DeSantis's free Florida. And, luckily here in Florida, I don't know about these other places like Texas, but our great governor here in Florida, he was a little concerned about this in the beginning. He said, hey, leave your Democrat voter registration back in New York, and when you're moving to Florida. And for the first time ever in the history of Florida, registered Republicans now outnumber registered Democrats. Okay? This has never happened before. And the reason that is happening is because a lot of there's a lot of Republicans in California that feel held hostage, and these other liberal states too. They moved to Florida, and they can't wait to get their license plate. They can't wait to get their voter registration card, and they're registering as Republican. And a lot of them are probably former Democrats. And this is going to have major implications in this mass migration going on into the power structure in this country. Because eventually what is going to happen, there's going to be another census. There's a new census every 10 years. And what's going to happen is, when the census is done, that's how the House seats are distributed. Everything with the federal government is done through the census pretty much. But the House of Representatives is done through the census. The red states are going to gain massive representation in the House of Representatives. Massive. Because of this mass migration that's going on. That's one of the reasons why the southern border is open. Because you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to be counted in the census. Remember, they made a big deal. They took Trump to court over that. And one of the reasons that, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons that Biden has a completely open southern border is they want to locate them. First, we thought they were going to bring them to red states. No, they want to send them to, there's some of that going on, but they want to send them to Democrat states to make up for the exodus that's going on so that they don't lose House seats. They're in a panic over this. But these liberal states, New York and California in particular, in the next few years are going to lose massive power in Washington. We've been held hostage by California. And the way the Electoral College works, a lot of people don't know this, a state has an equal number of electors as they have representation in the House of Representatives. Meaning if your state has 25 House members, you have 25 electors in the Electoral College. So this is amazing. There's a major political shift taking place in America. And believe me, the Democrats are panicked over this. That's what a lot of this derangement that they're going through right now, that we're talking about this morning and pretty much every morning because they're in complete meltdowns, that is what it's all about. All right, let me give out the number. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere, no matter where you are. 888-465-2631. I'm like 99% over my cold, and I'll tell you something. Nothing feels better than when you've had a cold and you get over it. Oh man, this is my first cold in 2 years. My first cold. I haven't had a cold or a flu since before COVID. And and I feel like so refreshed this morning because I'm like well for the first time in a few days. It's like wow, you really enjoy the health. But I was sick all weekend, and Friday I was really, really worried that I might have COVID. I've not had a cold since before the pandemic, so I got tested. Steve yesterday called me up. His son, very under the weather, was sick all weekend, and what did he do Monday morning? He sent him over to Any Lab Test Now in Coral Springs to get tested. I was negative. Steve's son's negative. Neither of us have the COVID. And it's best to know. Don't wonder. Know. Right? Makes life a lot less stressful if you know. My mother, same thing. Sent her over there to get tested. She called me up on Sunday for the directions to Any Lab Test Now of Boca. My mother got tested yesterday. A lot of people getting tested. All these stories you see in the news that people can't get tested. They're waiting weeks, days. There's lines. Not at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Not at Any Lab Test Now of Boca. They have every COVID test you need. By the way, they do all the lab testing your doctor would order, not just COVID testing. They do all they have thousands and thousands of lab tests. I go there for all my lab work, for everything. But whatever COVID test you need, they do it. They also have the non-invasive PCR, which is a saliva test. I know, that's awesome, isn't it? The thing up the nose. They do it all. Whatever because sometimes you need a different test for travel, a different test for international travel, a different test for your work, a different test for your school, or if you just like me or my mother or Steve's son yesterday, you just want to know, they have all the tests. Boom, and you got the answer, and you know. And it's best to know. Let me tell you, getting that negative test feels good, doesn't it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now listen, there's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but the only two advertising on the Steve Kane Show are Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs and Any Lab Test Now of Boca. Don't use the others, okay? Use these two because these two are advertising on the Steve Kane Show. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto, north of Hillsboro, on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. They're both open Monday through Saturday. No appointment necessary. Walk in, boom, 15 minutes or less, you're done, you're out. You got your result. And with the COVID testing, they print up the results. So you got that printout of the negative so you can take it to your work, your school, if you're traveling, or you just want to show everyone that you can come to the party, right? I know a lot of people have to get COVID tests to go to a party. I've been hearing that a lot. You get the printout, and they don't just take your word for it. You can show them. All right, and make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. My name's Brian Craig, back right after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi folks, Dr. Matez here, now with the Biostation West Delray. At Biostation West Delray, we continue to offer the highest level of experience and care you can find in the realm of hormone pellet and hormone replacement therapies. But that's just the start. We offer a full array of age management modalities, including state-of-the-art treatments for erectile dysfunction, sexual dysfunction in women, physical and sexual rejuvenation, and quite frankly, any sign or symptom of aging that you may have. And don't forget, we offer the complete array of all
Steve Kane Show.
modalities, including Botox, fillers, lasers, etc. Better energy, better sleep, better performance, and looks to die for. If this all sounds good to you, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Be right back, guys.
Attention seniors and those who
Be good.
care
I'll be right back.
This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for
Steve
some
Kane Show.
assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not
Hold
have
on.
to be an existing client of I Will.
Jaffo on the bound.
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for
$5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Jaffo.
We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity.
Took the entire conservative voter base out of California, divided it evenly. That's fine, yeah. That's fine with me. California's lost.
Of course, we'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office.
If you're new, make sure you subscribe and everyone like the video. If you don't mind, that helps me out a lot. It tells the YouTube algorithm to recommend this video to others who like this kind of content.
iWillAdvocates.com. That's iWillAdvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida. From Palm Beach.
I was trying to put off getting a haircut until the cruise, but I think I'm in need of one now. I don't know. Can I wait 3 weeks to get a haircut? I don't know.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call the show toll-free. Dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE 1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. Okay, so at the top of the show, I'll replay it later in the program, but MSNBC's Nicole Wallace wants the FBI and the CIA to investigate the guy who said, let's go Brandon to Biden the other day. Okay, so that's really scary stuff. But MSNBC, Nicole Wallace, they're not alone. Listen to this. This is CNN. This is CNN talking about it. Listen.
Let's go, Brandon, for those who don't know, is slang for F. Joe Biden.
Yes.
The president is trying to be nice to kids. He doesn't really have to do this. They were very pleasant. What does it tell you that somebody is rude like that and disrespects the office of the president to his face about the political climate in this country?
Yeah, look, it's ungracious, it's juvenile, it's reprehensible by the father.
Oh, wow, it's reprehensible. It's ungracious. You should be grateful to Joe. We're supposed to be grateful to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is doing so much for us. We are to be grateful. You're not gracious. Show some gratitude. He's doing so much. I bought gas today for $2 more a gallon than it was on Inauguration Day. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Are you grateful to Biden?
No.
No? Okay. Shame on you. Don't let Nicole Wallace hear that. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Dave. I'm calling from Crimea.
You sound okay.
Okay. So I was just commenting on the January 6th insurrection. They're going to call this an insurrection because they need to call it an insurrection. They need an event to claim that all Trump supporters are an internal enemy.
That's correct. The enemy within. That's what they're trying to do. Yes.
The 30s.
That's right. That's what, their book, I mean, this is Propaganda 101 from Nazi Germany. The Nazis, they burned down the Reichstag. What do? They blame the communist.
Why?
All right. Good morning, Andrea. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. I'm so glad that you're feeling better.
Oh, me too. So's my wife, so I can do some things around the house. I've been laying on the couch a lot the last few days. I spent the whole weekend on the couch, so.
Well, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So, here's my thing with this whole let's go Brandon thing. First and foremost, I think it's about time that the American people have kind of like a healthy disdain for the political class, because they've done us no favor. And I'm talking both sides of the aisle for the majority. So apparently, Kathy Griffin holding up a severed head of Trump, Madonna threatening to blow,
Yeah.
Johnny Depp threatening to assassinate, all completely okay. But now you're seeing the vast majority of Americans.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you.
Rejecting the most popular president in history. You're seeing a very healthy disdain for the political elite. And you know what? Politicians should be ridiculed and criticized, because what they've turned into is not an accurate representation of what they are supposed to be.
No, Nicole Wallace said to be critical of Joe Biden is an insurrection. You're an insurrectionist if you are critical to Joe Biden.
Well, you can't
Wesley,
ever
find out super
criticize
chat.
the
Thank you.
communist
Everyone thank
regime.
Wesley.
That's what dictatorship.
It's okay
is
for
all
plugs
about.
to disrespect
But
the
I'll
American
tell you
people of
what,
Afghanistan,
and I'm
mandates,
gonna be a mean girl
disrespect of
for
law
a hot
enforcement,
minute.
military never stops.
Nicole
Right on,
Wallace
Wesley.
doesn't bother me as much as what Louise from Boca yesterday said to you.
Oh, I forgot. She called you. Is that the mask lady?
Yeah.
Oh, what did she say?
Nice guy. You're a nice guy, so you're not going to say anything, but I'm not nice, so I'm definitely going to say something. She said to you, you wouldn't have gotten a cold if you were wearing your mask. And that is the type of fascist thinking that has gotten our country in the predicament that it currently is in. She is just so thinking along those lines, then she would be the type of person to turn around and say to somebody who has cancer, I told you you shouldn't be smoking, now you got what you deserve.
Yeah.
And this is what the problem is. She hides under the guise of, I'm an old lady, so you can't say anything bad about me. Well, you know what? No. The time for being parallel with these people and going along to get along is no more.
Well, a lot of women. I was watching some women on TV yesterday, and a lot of people were talking. They were talking to a lot of women about mask wearing because of this lunatic on the airplane. That slapped the man. The woman on the airplane. Okay, you may have heard she was on an episode or something of Baywatch. And what you have with that woman is you have a woman who, in her younger days, was a good-looking woman. She was on Baywatch, so she had a good body and everything. So she's not accustomed to men telling her no. Now she's 50. She doesn't look as good as she used to look. She doesn't have the body she used to have to look, and men are treating her like a normal person, so she flipped out. But I think a lot of women, like even that woman on the airplane, they like the mask for a couple reasons. One, they don't have to bother with the makeup, and as women who are unattractive or who are not looking as good as they used to due to age, it hides a lot of that. A lot of women are better looking with the mask on because you see the eyes and that part of the face. Does that make sense? Is that sexist?
Well, no. Well, in my opinion, I disagree with you there. I think it is a complete and utter power trip.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
People like that woman on the plane. She assaulted an 80-year-old man. Do you know what type of lowlife you would have to be to assault an 80-year-old man who's minding his own business, on a plane eating.
And then she didn't even have her mask on when she was yelling at him, and then she spit on him.
Well, most lunatic people like that do not. So this is, in my opinion, it's people like Louise, it's people like this woman on a plane who are now are doing the most selfish thing that you could do, which is they're imposing their will on everybody else.
Well, I'll tell you another thing about the masked ladies, plural. You know, because you see a lot, they call them Karens, which I believe Karen is a racial slur. I believe it is the equivalent of the N-word. But the women on the plane, Louise, and other women you see that are pro-mask and get very bossy and nasty about it, one thing they all seem to have in common is they are single women. And I know you're a single woman, so don't get offended, Andrea, but a lot of women, you know, like the woman on the airplane, there's an obvious reason why she is single, right? I mean, look at her. What man wants to put up with that beyond a night?
And here's the thing. That's exactly right. And what you're seeing is all these aggressive women, this is years of feminism, right? So you emasculate men, you give women male traits, and then they behave like complete and utter animals. The reason why I'm treated differently is because I behave like a lady, right? For the most part. Like, if you want a good fight, I'll give you it.
Well, you know, what they've done, and I was reading a story today. Let me see if I can pull this up, this story. I was going to get to this later, but it's relevant to what we were talking. I was reading a story today. Let me pull this up because this is so relevant to what we're talking about. Okay, this is in the Daily Mail. A female teacher in Iowa who is 22 has been arrested and charged with having a sexual relationship with a 17-year-old boy. She's facing 20 years in prison on 4 counts of sexual exploitation by a school employee after she was accused of being in a months plural long relationship with a 17-year-old student in 2020. He was a student at the community college where she taught. She met him when they got into a car accident together. Now, obviously, I don't approve of, you know, people having sex with underage people, but when I was 17, and if some hot, blonde 22-year-old had sex with one of the guys, the last thing you'd want to do is to be humiliated like you've been victimized. You know, they have so feminized young men. This is a college kid. He goes to community college. You know, they've so feminized young men that they believe is he a victim? A 17-year-old who has been seduced by a hot, blonde, athletic 22-year-old female, is he a victim?
Well, here's the thing. When you're in a position of kind of authority...
She wasn't his teacher. She wasn't his teacher.
It doesn't matter. She's a teacher. Right? That is no different. Like, you have to know where the line is.
I'll show you the picture.
And trust me,
that's her.
I get hit on all the time by these 20-year-old guys in the gym. Right? It's a thing for them.
Is he a victim?
Right? It's like they want to cougar up for a minute.
Well, I don't think 22 is cougar territory. All right, Andrea, we've wandered, but I got to run for a break. But thanks for the call and obviously good comment. Yeah, take care. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Look, I showed everybody on YouTube the picture of the alleged victimizer. Give me a break. I hope if that went to jury trial, she. I know you're laughing. You're laughing. Yeah.
Well, she's not, you know.
It's not like she's 22. She's not 32 or 42 or 52. She's 22. Hey, what was that Beatles? That, you know, she's only 17. You know what I mean, right? What song is that? Yeah. Exactly. What was that? Yeah, exactly. But this woman here, she's 22. I know. She looks like she works at Hooters, right? Exactly. All right. Take care, Andrea. See, even Andrea, even she's like, she's laughing. She wasn't on my side till she saw the picture. All right, listen, we'll be right back. 17 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Do you want immune advice from a licensed professional with 30 plus years experience? Someone who's counseled thousands of clients, developed nutrient formulas, and...
No, my teachers didn't look like that either.
That's me, Janet Cimarelli, licensed nutrition counselor. Call me at AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at Festival Marketplace for your free counseling appointment. 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851.
Ryan Craig here. Conservative Doug called me up live on the air to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I took both tires in the back of my Infiniti. I called them up, and I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Exactly. Now, if it was reversed, if the girl was 17 and the teacher was 22, and was a man, that's different. But this way, please. Please.
Repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000-mile warranty on the tires. That's great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody can buy tires anyplace else. This guy is the best prices.
Oh, I like, Debbie, I meant to bring them in this morning. I forgot. I'll bring them in tomorrow morning. Debbie sent me and Kathy a Trump and a Biden bobblehead. I meant to bring them in to show you guys this morning.
Just stop right in. The address is listed at SteveKaneShow.com. 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate, and that's just a little north.
I'll give an update on Sarah when we get back. Steve Kane Show.
Well, Conservative Doug, thanks so much, and I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, 20 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We are back. Now, with the teacher, the 22-year-old teacher and the 17-year-old boy, right? She was not his teacher, okay? I would have a different opinion if it was a 22-year-old male teacher and a 17-year-old girl. Very different, be totally opposite. But because the boy's younger, 17, and the teacher's 22, that's. And if you call it sexist, call it sexist. I call it reality. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Now, before I get back into the issues, I want to give an update on Sarah. Now, one of our most loyal listeners, Sarah, who went with us on our last Steve Kane cruise, obviously she will not be able to go with us this time because she is still in the hospital. She's been in the hospital for over a month with COVID, and she's been on a ventilator. I've lost track of how long, but she's been on a ventilator close to a month at this point. My latest updates are that they have reduced her need on the ventilator has been reduced. Apparently, when you're on a ventilator, they just can't take you off of it. They have to wean you off the ventilator. And she is in that phase right now, which is a very, very slow process. So that's good news with Sarah, but man, she's had a tough go of it. And all of your prayers, keep them coming, and they do help because she's had a rough go of it, but she seems to be pulling through, thankfully. So, all right, if you're on hold, stand by. So let me get my. Okay, here we are. Okay, now I will play the Nicole Wallace audio again later in the show for people that missed it. I played it at the top at the first hour, but I'll replay that later because what's going on is pretty frightening stuff. Now, the January 6th kangaroo hearings that are coming up, what they're doing now is an unbelievable. The left like to confuse people. They like to confuse people. They like to take two different things and make them the same. I was talking about one yesterday. Kamala Harris in the first debate with Joe Biden was Joe Biden's a racist. So please, I'm not defending Joe Biden. He is a racist. And he was brought up in his early days in Washington by segregationists. But he was a very vocal opponent of busing. A lot of people were. And being opposed to busing is not the same as being a segregationist opposed to integration. What happened when desegregation of American schools began, by the way, does anyone know what school district was the last school district in America to be desegregated fully? I'm not going to troll for calls on this. I'm just going to tell you. What school district in America was the last school district to desegregate its public schools? You know which one? Boston. Boston. Isn't that something? One of the most liberal towns in America, the last to desegregate. But anyway, what had happened, you know, it was kind of like, remember Footloose? Not that terrible remake, the original Kevin Bacon Footloose. The whole movie, they're fighting for the dance, right? And then what happens? They find a way to have the dance at the feed store across the tracks, and they have the dance, and no one's dancing. No one knows how to dance until Kevin Bacon shows them, right? Well, that's what happened with desegregation. The schools were desegregated by law, but then they found out they were still segregated because kids go to the schools in their neighborhood. So they brought in busing, which means that even if there was a school next door to your house, they'd put you on a bus across town to integrate a school through busing. And a lot of parents, I think most parents, were opposed to busing. I was bused. There was a school down the street from my house I went to. This was in Columbus, Ohio. And then I got bused to a school across town. And I remember clearly, it was third grade. I was in third grade. I was taken out of my school. Any of our listeners in Columbus, Ohio, you'll know. I remember I went to a school called Valley View Elementary School. Valley View Elementary School. And they took me and all my friends out of the school, and they bused us across town. And Columbus, Ohio was big. It's like a big city like Chicago. They bused us across town to a black neighborhood, and the school was called Beatty Park Elementary School. I went there for a year. And it was so controversial. The first week of school, all the TV stations were there watching us get on and off the bus, watching all the white kids get off the bus, watching all the white kids get on the bus at the end of the day for the whole first week of school. I didn't know what was going on. I was in third grade. I didn't understand it. But, you know, that's what was going on. And parents were opposed to busing because they didn't want their kids to be traveling long distances. It's dangerous on the road during rush hour. And also, people buy houses simply because of the schools in their neighborhood. It's very controversial. So what Kamala did with Biden, very clever, she confused two issues, right? Being opposed to busing is the same as being opposed to integration. Now, in Biden's case, that may have been true, but for most people, it wasn't. Well, now, how does this relate to what's going on today? The January 6th hearings, okay? They are doing the same thing with the January 6th hearings. Now, I want you to understand, of the 600 or so people that have been arrested and charged, many of them still in the D.C. Gitmo, not one person has been charged with insurrection. People have been charged with various crimes, and some are doing some serious time, but no one has been charged with insurrection. That's the Biden Justice Department with a very corrupt leftist attorney general. And they still haven't brought insurrection charges. And they're not getting the result that they wanted from this. They've not been able to connect any of these lunatics like the Viking shaman to Trump or anybody around Trump. So now there was a rally. President Trump had a rally in Washington. And many people, not us on the Steve Kane Show, because I just knew that these people were up to something. In fact, I said before, I told callers on the air, do not go to Washington. Do not go to Washington. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I knew it wasn't a good place to go because of the way the leftists acted on Trump's inauguration day. Okay? But President Trump had a rally, and other people like Steve Bannon and Alex Jones and others, Rogers, invited people to join them in Washington. So I'm going to play this exchange from Jake Tapper yesterday on CNN. We used to call it the Clinton News Network during the Clinton days. I guess it can still be that. Anybody have a better word that we can use for CNN? But now, like with the busing and segregation confusion, now what they're trying to say is, if you invited someone to the Trump rally, that's the same as being involved in the Capitol breach and an insurrection. It's not the same, but that's what they're trying to do because they need to get something connected to Trump. So listen to this. This is Jake Tapper, CNN, yesterday.
Following the money in our politics lead today, new records show that the House committee...
Hear that? Follow the money. Yeah? How about that Burisma money? How about that $80-some thousand that Biden's brother gets paid in consulting fees every month? How about that? How about that diamond that Hunter got? No, not that money.
Following the money in our politics lead today, new records show that the House committee investigating the Capitol riot is now demanding bank records in an effort to figure out exactly how two rallies held on January 6th leading up to the insurrection were funded. CNN law enforcement correspondent Wendy Wild joins us now live. Wendy, walk us through exactly what the House Select Committee is demanding and how we learned about it.
Well, Jake, this was all revealed in a challenge to the committee's subpoena for those banking records of a man named Taylor Budowich. He is a former senior advisor for the Trump 2020 campaign. He is now former President Donald Trump's spokesman. Now, this challenge suggests that this committee is looking at funding, as you mentioned, for the January 6th rally, sending the subpoena directly to JP Morgan Chase, who told Budowich if he didn't file a motion to stop the records release, they would hand over this information.
Okay. So I know it seems confusing, right? They're doing RICO here. They're treating people like that. So if you were, if you were part of the Trump rally planning, you're an insurrectionist now. If you were Alex Jones and you said, hey, I'm going to be in D.C. for the Trump rally, come meet me. All of a sudden, you're an insurrectionist now. Are you kidding me? What about a tour group of fifth graders that are going up to see the Smithsonian? Are they part of it too? That involved funding. See how they're confusing things? Because here we are a year in and they didn't get what they wanted out of all the people that went into the Capitol that they've arrested and charged. Scary times. This next clip, I forgot what it is. I didn't label it very well. I labeled it Tapper 2. So this is Jake Tapper, the second part of this conversation. I don't know what it is. I did not label it very well this morning. Hey, it was like 3:30 in the morning. It says Tapper 2. But if I pulled the audio, it must be worthy of playing. Let me play it.
What's the point of figuring out who paid for the...
Oh, yes. Okay. This is it. Okay, now I remember. Okay, so this is Jake Tapper talking to his guest. Why, people have a right to go to Washington. It's America. So why are we doing this? Listen.
What's the point of figuring out who paid for the rallies? The rallies themselves are not being investigated. It's what happened at the Capitol.
Well, you can't look at one without the other.
Oh.
This is why you have things such as racketeering when you look at who's financing projects.
Wow.
What happens in the middle and the end result. And so by digging up and going to find out who financed the rallies, who paid for the buses, who paid for the robocalls, who paid for the radio ads, these individuals who actually paid for this rally, which led to an insurrection, they paid for this coup. And it's very important to know who they are. And we'll see, because I've always said, and I think many people, Democrats, Republicans, and independents alike, they want accountability for those people who financed this coup or attempted coup. And they also want accountability for individuals who actually stormed the Capitol.
Okay. So this is the rally goers. Like if you remember, President Trump came out and spoke. So if you organized that event or a group of people to come to that event, you're now an insurrectionist, which was a mile away from the Capitol. They've expanded things quite a bit. We're in uncharted territory in this country right now. Completely uncharted territory. I'm going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we get back, I'll take some more calls. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. My name's Brian. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that
I recall that the banks volunteered all of that banking information shortly after the insurrection.
I thought so too, yeah.
So I think the government's just trying to cover that.
Yep. Yeah.
social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her experience with the MyPillow mattress topper. Well, as you know, Brian, I was waking
the reason I have, because people have asked me, the chat to subscriber only, it's to stop the spammers, not to stop any content or anybody talking. You only have to be subbed for 5 minutes. They allow, the way it works, if you do subscriber only, you can set it up for subscribe for a period of time. That's the least amount of time they offer is 5 minutes. And it's just to stop the bots, because a lot of bots were coming in. And I've been doing this, 3 or 4 days, and I think it stops the bots. Not it's not to stop any content. But you know how those bots get. I mean, it's just ridiculous, and it's hard for me to monitor the bots when I'm on the air broadcasting.
But you've got to use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. It comes in every size, too, from twin all the way up to California King. That's promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. 35 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Numerically, that's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Chris. How are you, Doug?
Oh, hey, Doug.
Okay. First thing, I know when I was 17, all my friends, if we had the opportunity to have a 22-year-old girlfriend, we would have been pushing each other to try to get her.
Well, not just a 22-year-old girlfriend, a 22-year-old Hooters waitress girlfriend.
Yeah, she's even better than Hooters, I guess, from that picture.
Oh, you saw the picture, too. Oh, yeah.
Really good-looking girl. We all would have been trying to get her. Anyway, this insurrection nonsense is fake insurrection. Somebody just said, I don't know if I was on the radio where I heard it, but that this was a plot by the Democrats to try to change the narrative away from the fraud of the.
Oh, my goodness. No, what it's about is anyone who's MAGA is a threat, is dangerous. That's what it's about. Anyone who's MAGA is a threat and is dangerous. That's what it's about. I saw this story today in the Western Journal. The Western Journal, by the way, very good conservative newspaper. westernjournal.com. It's an online website. You really should check it out, westernjournal.com. I read them all the time. This is in Minnesota. And a school board in Minnesota, listen to this. This is crazy. The Mankato School Board in Minnesota voted unanimously to pay non-white teachers additional stipends based only on the color of their skin. This was also reported in the BizPac Review. If you're black or Native American and teach for the school district, you will be paid better than your peers. In fact, you'll be paid more. You don't have to earn a raise for doing anything extra just based on ethnicity. The chair of the school board, Jody Sapp, once raised eyebrows when she required parents to give their name and address before commenting on school matters, the Daily Wire reported. In this latest move, she led the charge to amend school district policy so that only non-white teachers are eligible for additional stipends to become mentors to other non-white colleagues. Whites need not apply for this new program. Oh my goodness. You know, it seems every day, pretty much every day, there's another story out there like this. Segregation is back, and you know, there's a difference to it, and there's also a sameness. The difference is minorities are in the segregation now, which is, you know, interesting. But also what's the same about it is that it's the same political party bringing back segregation that introduced it to the country, the Democrats, right? Yeah, it's a you know, and it's really a frightening thing that people that do something like this feel it's the right thing to do, feel it's justified for some past wrongs that none of them have ever experienced. I mean, when you've got Joy Reid talking about what a victim she is every night on MSNBC, I did not realize this until a couple weeks ago. She's a Harvard graduate. A Harvard degree is the golden ticket to life. You know, you can be a C student as long as you got that Harvard degree, you're set. But she's still a victim with the national television show. All right, back to the phones. Good morning. Good morning. Once, twice. Oh, okay. No more calls until the delay builds back up. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy. If you want to use language like that, use coded language like the guy that called Biden, all right? That's okay. Oh, before it's too late, because we're in Kwanzaa now, and I saw Lori Lightfoot for the very first time with her wife. I've never seen Lori Lightfoot, the mayor of Chicago, with her wife, and they did this Kwanzaa message. You know what I found interesting about Lori Lightfoot's wife? It's not even a thing that a woman has a wife now. That's not even, you know. I think it'd be shocking if a female has a husband. People are like, wow, that's shocking. Lori Lightfoot, remember she wouldn't take questions from white reporters? Remember that? Her wife is white. What do you think that's about? What do you think that's about? But anyway, they released a Kwanzaa message. Here it is. This is Lori Lightfoot with her white wife and their Kwanzaa message to the people of Chicago.
Joyous Kwanzaa, Chicago. Amy and I wish to extend a very beautiful and prosperous Kwanzaa to all of you celebrating this season.
As you light the candles and gather in unity, we hope your holiday is filled with rejoicing and happiness.
The 7 principles of Kwanzaa guide us to unity and cooperation as we work to uplift and protect our neighbors.
Meanwhile, 22 were shot in Chicago over the weekend. Are you protecting those during Kwanzaa?
Prepare for your Kwanzaa celebrations. I urge you to keep these values in mind, but also maintain COVID-19 safe celebrations. The COVID-19 vaccines are by far the best way to protect yourself and your loved ones from the virus. Anyone who isn't vaccinated should get one as soon as possible to be protected for the holidays. And that includes 5 to 11-year-olds who are now eligible for the Pfizer vaccine.
Fully vaccinated people can gather with others who have been fully vaccinated without restrictions. If you are not vaccinated, we recommend that you don't attend any large gatherings. If you still plan to do so, we encourage you to get a COVID test before attending. while also masking and social distancing when possible.
But if you are sick or is experiencing COVID...
Okay, I can't take it anymore. Okay, now Kwanzaa. Don't they have Kwanzaa music? Why is she playing Christmas music in the background during Kwanzaa? Does anyone actually celebrate Kwanzaa? I know we have black people in this listening audience. Is there anyone in this audience who either celebrates Kwanzaa or someone in their family celebrates Kwanzaa? I don't think anyone celebrates Kwanzaa anymore. And, you know, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, which is a scam holiday, you know, by that Karinga guy and all that stuff. We all know that. But liberals should be very upset with Kwanzaa because there's a lot of cultural appropriation going on with Kwanzaa. You know, each day of Kwanzaa means something different. I don't know what the days are, but you know what I mean? And they symbolize each day by lighting a candle, and they take menorahs and they put different colored candles, like red and black candles or something, in the menorah, and they light a candle in the menorah. They say these are Kwanzaa candles. So they have culturally appropriated the menorahs and turned it into their holiday. That's bad news. Now, Kamala Harris has lied to the American people. And she's just outright lied. Kamala Harris, she sent out a message touting the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, and says her favorite principle of Kwanzaa, this is well, they say it's an African word. I don't know if it is, and I can't pronounce it, but she says her favorite principle of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa is Kuji Chagulia. Kuji Chagulia. Let me scroll down. What does this mean? This is her favorite day of Kwanzaa, her favorite principle of Kwanzaa. Kuji Jiulia, however, it means self-determination is what it means. It's an African word meaning self-determination. So this is her favorite principle of Kwanzaa. You know, if I were a reporter covering this, what do you think I would ask Kamala Harris? If she told me that her favorite principle of the 7 of Kwanzaa is Kuji Chagulia, what do you think my question to her would be? It's a pretty simple question to show what a phony she is, what a liar she is. My question would be, what are the other 6 principles of Kwanzaa? And you know what? She doesn't know. I promise you she doesn't know. They just gave her this one so she could act like she knew about it. Now, that's exactly right. Now, how do I know? You may ask yourself, how do you know that Kamala doesn't celebrate Kwanzaa? Well, I know for a couple reasons. One, she's married to a white man, and all of her children, who are her children by marriage, she's the stepmother, are white. So, okay, white people definitely don't do the Kwanzaa. So there's no Kwanzaa in her home. But a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that Kamala Harris is African American. Some say she's Indian American. She is neither. She's African Canadian. She's Indian Canadian. When she was a young girl, her parents divorced when she was in elementary school. Her mother took her to Canada, Quebec, right? Was it Quebec? Or Ontario? Whichever one. It was Canada. Does it matter? Her mother, when she was in elementary school, her parents divorced. Her mother, who was a college professor, who practiced Hinduism, took her to Canada and raised her in Canada. She finished all of her schooling in Canada, all the way through high school, only returned to the United States for college and to get in the political scam. How many Hindu girls in Canada were celebrating Kwanzaa? Part of Kamala Harris's problem, one of the reasons people don't like her, there's many reasons why, but one of the reasons people don't like her is everything about her is just fake. Nothing about Kamala is real, except that she was Willie Brown's girlfriend. That's real. But everything else is not real. Everything's a lie. To fit, like when she said that she was in the first class to be integrated. A lie. There were many classes before hers integrated in that school. Everything about her is fake and is a lie. All right, let's take our last break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to the Steve Kane Show.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurse's station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any Medicare client. We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number, 954-345-1214.
Hey, Chaplain Jethro, if you're in the chat, I saw you there a little while ago. Put the link to your Facebook group in the chat. Chaplain Jethro, he has a Christian Facebook group where he does a live stream. I was in there yesterday. It's very, very good. Put that link in the chat if you want, Jethro. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Okay, now, the left and the media, they're talking about we're still in a pandemic. I believe we're out of a pandemic. People are still going to get sick. People are still going to get COVID. People are still going to get colds. People are still going to get hangnails. People are still, going to get things. We're not going to ever reach a point where there's no sickness. That'd be beautiful if there was no sickness, wouldn't it? Oh, man. But that's just an impossible standard. But Biden, Biden was brought in to be the savior. He was going to save us all from Trump. And what he did yesterday with this governor's meeting is he gave up. Listen, here's Biden yesterday.
Look, there is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level.
There's no solution. This gets solved at the state level. Well, thank you. Governor Ron DeSantis has been saying that since day one, and he's been doing it here in Florida. So there's no solution from the federal government. If that's the case, what's all these requirements coming from the federal government all about then? And Fauci and the CDC and everything. If everything is all of a sudden, the Democrats, this is Biden. This is an amazing policy shift for the Democrat Party. The Democrats are telling us, for the first time since the Civil War, that this is a state's issue, not the federal government. In fact, it can't be solved by the federal government. It's to be solved by the state. That is, I know everyone's saying, oh, and then he gave up and he walked to the helicopter and went to Delaware and he gave up. Could you imagine if that's obvious? But this is a major policy shift. And for the first time, I'm going to agree with Biden. Let's let the states do it. I think Ron DeSantis has done a great job. I'm sure there's other Republican governors that have done great jobs. I just am experiencing the greatness of Ron DeSantis' free Florida that is perfect, a perfect place. But, yeah, I know, it's absolutely amazing, isn't it? States' issues now. Now, then, this came out in this meeting he had with the governors yesterday, and they're at that fake White House set across the street, which I'm very confused about why that is, and people have all these theories. Maybe it's just government has money to blow on crap, and they just built this huge TV studio that they don't need. I don't know. But, so Biden, he has this meeting with the governors, and that's when that nonsense came out. And then he goes to a part where he's going to take questions from the governors. And what happens then is they throw the press out. Listen, this is when they're going to the questions from the governors.
I want to thank the governors.
Steve Kane Show.
I mean that sincerely.
Hey, Janet. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. We're going to clear the press. Wow, we're going to clear the press. We don't want the press to hear the questions from the governors. You know why? Because things suck and they're bad, and they don't want the press to hear the gripes of the governors to Biden, and he'll have no answers, and they can't control it. They can't control the questions. Oh man, brutal, brutal. Where's the media outcry over it? Could you imagine if Trump did that? All right, now it's time to check in with Janet Cimarelli from AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace. We speak to Janet every day at this time with the Morning Health Report. Janet Cimarelli, good morning.
And a very special good morning to you. I have so much information for your listeners to keep them healthy. What I'm talking about today is I have a formula that's called Supercell. And if you want to relieve your fatigue, support your mood, enhance your stress response, if you want to balance your blood sugar, and you think, oh, how could that be?
Yeah,
something
actually,
in
copy
one
and paste the link.
capsule that would
Judge
do
Rowe.
all that. Yeah, balance your hormones, protect your healthy cells. It has the antioxidant amla in it. And it's got the tongue twister of ingredients: ashwagandha, astragalus, rhodiola, eleuthero, schisandra, and each one of those herbs does incredibly special, fabulous, fabulous things for your health, your energy, your well-being, your mood, your blood sugar. And you can find it at AJ's Natural Wellness Shop. where you can find me. And you can bring your blood test results. We can discuss any kind of medications that you're using. What are the best supplements for you to focus on supporting your good health where the need is greatest. And all of that is at AJ's Natural Wellness Shop. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous practice and awesome information and awesome inventory to support your.
That's right. Now, Janet Cimarelli is a licensed nutrition counselor, and when you have it's a no-charge consultation with Janet Cimarelli. They do ask that you make an appointment because, you know, people want to meet with Janet a lot to take advantage of this free knowledge and information. But Janet, you have a room at AJ's Natural to give privacy to people when they're talking to you, so people don't have to go through all of their health concerns in front of the whole customer base at the festival, right?
And that's the truth. It's a little private room. I have my desk. The people can be comfortable spreading out their blood test results, and there's privacy.
That's right. That's right. And, of course, Janet Cimarelli also has her radio show on all of our radio stations, as well as the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn app. Everywhere you listen to the Steve Kane Show, you can listen to Janet Cimarelli Tuesdays and Fridays. Today's Tuesday, both days at 10 a.m. Now, AJ's Natural Wellness Shop is in the Festival Marketplace in Pompano. Pretty easy to find. Just east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample Road is the Festival Marketplace. And if you go in the main entrance, go straight towards the food court. Right before the food court, if you're walking that way, west, which is right, you'll see the information booth. That's where AJ's Natural Wellness Shop is. Now, if you have any questions, they do ship anywhere. They open every day at 10 a.m. And the phone number, if you either want to call them for some information, you want to make an order because you can't make it in or you're out of town, or you want to set up an appointment with licensed nutrition counselor Janet Cimarelli, here's the number, 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851. AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at the Festival Marketplace. All right, Janet Cimarelli, take care. We'll talk tomorrow.
We will. Have a great.
All right, take care, take care. We'll be back with the third and final hour of today's show after this.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years.
Steve Kane Show.
Location and offering great deals on new and used tires.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Many suppliers, whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to any lab test now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to any lab test now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow.
Yeah, if you type in Chaplain Jethro's Corner, it comes right up on Facebook. But if somebody has the direct link, the URL, if you could put it in the chat. I can't do that on my iPad. For some I don't have Facebook on my iPad.
Is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate.
Show toll-free.
Dial 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. And now.
All right, 3 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I am going to recap in a bit the Nicole Wallace story yesterday on the Let's Go Brandon Dad. I think we're in a turning point in this country, and it's not a good one, not with the left. And we got to go through that because I know a lot of you guys don't watch MSNBC. I don't blame you. Okay, I have to do this stuff. It's called a job, and unfortunately, I'm like Mike Rowe. It's a dirty job following the left-wing liberal media, but you've got to do it. You've got to know what's going on with them to do this program properly. But I'll take a call or two before I do that. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Richie, the bus driver. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, Abbott and Costello, Burrow and Hardy, and then there's Joe and Kamala. They are clowns. And by the way, what he did what they did by throwing the press out, what he did, because he doesn't know what he's doing, by them throwing the press out, they were only protecting their partners from having to report the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the press is too upset about it.
Yeah.
This whole administration is it's to the point where you have to watch it, and unfortunately I'm addicted to it. So all I do is watch all this stuff going on, and I can't believe my eyes. And I can't believe there's still people out there supporting this clown administration. I mean, it's more than just
Well, they're losing. I mean, CNN and the mainstream media have been doing something they've never done in the past, being critical of the Democrat president. Like today, CNN headline story, Biden grapples with COVID testing failure that could have been foreseen. So they're blaming Biden, CNN, for what they're calling a testing crisis with COVID. I mean, for them to criticize a Democrat president is unheard of.
Well, they found out that in October that the drug companies offered to give them test kits, and the governors were crying out for them, and he said it wasn't necessary. And then he had Jen Psaki get on one of her press conferences. I know you know this one, where she said, "What are we going to mail out test kits to everyone in the country?"
Yeah.
Take the shot; it's free. Test it; it's free, and that's where he's.
And by the way, even if they were to do that, it would be a failure. I mean, I was talking yesterday. I was at the auto tag office. I had to go to the auto tag office in person, which was like, oh my goodness, I was dreading it all weekend. And anytime you go somewhere that the government runs, you're screwed. And imagine having this incompetent administration that can't even handle phone calls for Santa's sleigh ride. In charge of your health like that. Would you trust the government with your test? You're gonna get a government test in the mail. You're gonna take it, and then I don't trust anything they do. Remember when the Obamacare website went online? It crashed before it even went public.
It's embarrassing, and it's not just the test online and everything else. I don't trust and the administration. I don't trust the press at all. So, I mean, you can't get a true story of anybody. They cover up 90% of the crap.
Yeah, and do you want the federal government to know that you even requested a test? You're on a list. You're on a list.
I don't know anything about me.
Yeah.
I mean, they are completely, and they're vindictive. That's the biggest thing in the world. I don't want them to know that I call your show. I don't want them to know you. I hope they don't send. I bet you they're listening to your show every morning. I mean, these people are just sick.
Yes.
You can't express yourself as an American anymore. Kwanzaa, okay? Can I ask you, do you know what Kwanzaa is?
Yeah, it's a fake, phony con game that Karinga started.
Very much.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not.
In fact, a lot of people, Steve Kane knew that guy before he became Karinga. He knew him out in California, personally knew him, when he had his regular name, which I can't remember his name before he changed it to Karinga. But Steve knew him before he started that racket. I don't know if he knew him before or after he went to prison for torturing that woman. I don't know at what point he knew him.
It's not part of the American values, and you know, I have to say, I understand there's the Irish, this St. Patrick's Day and the Irish celebrating, there's the Italian festivals, but there's no like Christmas holiday all of a sudden celebrating this country called Kwanzaa.
No one, listen, no one celebrates Kwanzaa except the guys that sell the Kwanzaa candles, okay? No one celebrates Kwanzaa. I don't know if there's a single black person in this audience that celebrates Kwanzaa, or somebody in your family does. Call and let me know about it. No one. It's something that people do. Now, if you're at school and you have a liberal black school teacher, she might have some Kwanzaa decorations up or something in the classroom. She doesn't celebrate Kwanzaa. She just wants people to know that she's woke. No one celebrates Kwanzaa. No one. Maybe there was a time when a couple people did. No one celebrates it. It's fake. It's a fake holiday. It's like Festivus. More people celebrate Festivus than Kwanzaa.
Closing, they're celebrating this guy's death at Tutu in the United States. And I understand that he did some terrible things, and he was anti-Semitic. I don't know because I don't. But once again, they're on the wrong side of history.
You know what shocked me the most about the death of Desmond Tutu this week?
No, what?
That he was not already dead. I mean, I haven't heard from Desmond Tutu since I was like in high school. I thought he died like 20 years ago.
He's something years old.
Yeah.
No, he had a long life. I wish I lived to 90, you know. God bless him.
90? 90s, thank you. 90's not what it used to be. You know, this, did you see the story about the guys in the Whitmer case? I'm not going to go through the whole story, but 5 men accused of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer want the charges dismissed. They say because the FBI invented a conspiracy and informants funded and agitated the movement. 5 men accused of hatching the plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer say they had no such plan and that it was instigated by federal informants. Dan, who infiltrated the group, paid for gas, food, and lodging for militia-style weekend training. When the 5 accused men turned down the idea, the informant egged them to do other crimes, like entrapment. An ex-FBI agent that led the case was fired after pleading guilty to hitting his wife following swingers' night. The informant was paid $50,000 for his work with federal authorities. The men were allegedly upset with Whitmer's lockdowns. The prosecutors pushing forward. You know, that's an interesting thing you talk about there, because I was watching on Paramount Plus. Do you guys remember Reno 911? Do you remember Reno 911, the TV show? It was very funny, wasn't it? They have a new movie, Reno 911, on Paramount Plus. It's awful and it's not funny. And I'm a big Reno 911 fan. It's really bad. But I did watch it, some of it. I fast-forwarded through most of it. I couldn't stop. It's really bad. I don't know how it ended. But it's an this new Reno 911 movie is an anti-MAGA movie. And the reason I watched it is not just because I'm a Reno 911 fan. I thought it would give me something to talk about with you guys to share how anti-MAGA they are. But it's an anti-MAGA movie, and they go on this cruise with all the MAGA people and everything else. And undercover, Reno 911's undercover. And then at one point they find out everyone it's on a cruise for this MAGA event. They find out that pretty much everybody on the cruise is either an undercover reporter from a liberal publication or an undercover Fed. It was very funny that they put that in there. It's the second time I've seen this. Babylon Bee did a video on this, similar to this, a few months ago. And when you see something like that, you know, for something to be funny, there has to be truth to it, or it's not really funny. And I've seen that comedy bit in 2 different comedy bits, a movie and the Babylon Bee video that was online. I've seen it twice now, where everybody there was a FBI informant, or an FBI agent, or a liberal reporter. And that means that's what most people think about these things. So there's definite truth to what they're saying here. Now, after the break, I'm going to get into MSNBC and Nicole Wallace is calling on the FBI and the CIA, I'm not kidding, to investigate the guy that made the Let's Go Brandon Christmas call to Joe Biden over Christmas weekend. I'm going to play this and talk about it. I know I talked about it at the top of the show at 6, but this is hard for people to believe. I don't understand it myself, but there are people now listening in the 8 o'clock hour who don't have their alarm clock set for 6 a.m. They sleep in. Shame on you. But this story is so important, I'm going to recap it and start to go through it a little bit after the break, because this story is important because of this turning point we are in, where our freedoms are not eroding, they're just taking them. Not slowly, taking them. Erosion is like slowly over time. They're just taking them. And this is a textbook example of it. Now, just in the last couple of days, I've been tested for COVID. Steve's son was tested for COVID. My mother was tested for COVID. Any of you been tested for COVID? I'm over this cold, thankfully so. Oh, man. But when I was sick on Friday, I knew these cold symptoms were coming on. And, of course, what do you think? COVID. Of course, a lot of family events going on over the weekend. So, any lab test now of Boca, any lab test now of Coral Springs, they have every COVID test you need, no matter what you need it for. In fact, when we go on the cruise, you got to have a COVID test of some, I can't remember which one we have to have. I got the list from the cruise line. But you have to have a particular COVID test before the cruise. I'm going to go to any lab test now of Boca. That's where I typically go. For my testing, Steve goes to any lab test now of Coral Springs. They have all the COVID testing you need, no matter what you need it for. Work, school, travel, foreign travel. Maybe just peace of mind like me. Steve, his son, was very sick yesterday. He sent him over to any lab test now at Coral Springs. Boom. Negative, thankfully. I was negative. My mother had COVID test yesterday. Negative. And sometimes people I know will call me up and say, hey, I need to get a COVID. Can you get me in at any lab test now of Boca or any lab test now of Coral Springs? I said, there's no appointment. Anybody can walk in off the street. I don't have to get you in. You can just go and show up. Now, of course, make sure you tell them you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. You don't need to have a special contact. You can, no shortage of tests. They have all the tests. No matter what test you need, they have same-day PCR test as well. And they also have a non-evasive PCR where they just use saliva for the test. But they have every other test that you need for COVID. Now listen, there's lots of any lab test nows around. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs are the only two advertising on the Steve Kane Show. So don't use the others, just use these two. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto, north of Hillsborough, on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Both locations, no appointment. They do all the lab testing you need for everything, not just COVID testing, by the way. But no appointment necessary, just walk right in. They'll give you a printout as well of your test. So you can take it to work, take it on travel, take it and show your family before they let you into the party, whatever you got to do. That's right. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Now, by the way, all of our sponsors are listed on the sponsor page at SteveKaneShow.com, our new website. You'll see Steve holding a glass of champagne on our last cruise, and you'll see a button, sponsor info. Click it. So if you need the contact information of any of our sponsors, including any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs, all their information and phone numbers are listed right there. We'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to a Champagne Automotive, and I got to say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that
Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season. Now it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, black roofs, and slate tile systems. Building Restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproofing, and painting. Laporta Contracting serves single-family, multifamily, HOAs, and commercial properties. Call Laporta Contracting today for a free evaluation and estimate, and go to our website to see our team and past customer videos at laportacontracting.com. Our number is 954-604-4602. That number again is 954-604-4602. And thanks for listening to The Steve Kane Show.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, 19 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. This incident with the Let's Go Brandon Christmas dad, someone should be in a lot of trouble for that. Someone should be in a lot of trouble for that and lose their job. Whoever was responsible for the screw-up that embarrassed Biden that way. I mean, I thought it was great, right? It's funny, but it's also scary because Biden said it himself. He's got the nuclear football and he wasn't even aware of it, that was a phrase. He thought he was being complimented and then he repeated it himself. This is the second time in about a week that the White House press office is screwed up and embarrassed. They embarrassed Biden and Jill with that. And then remember, who's the one guy that calls himself a god? The god? His exchange with Kamala last week before? You know, this they should be fired. I mean, this is just total incompetence. But what's going on here with the mainstream media, with the liberal media, is really frightening. And Nicole Wallace, she used to be on The View, and you may have seen a story lately that The View, they're having a hard time finding a permanent, Charlemagne the God, D-A, God, in his own mind. Nicole Wallace used to be on The View, and The View, they're saying that there was a story out yesterday about The View that they're having a hard time finding a conservative host. Nicole Wallace fit in very well there. Very well. She had no problem. She agrees with all these women on everything. But anyway, what she was talking about with her panel of sycophantic panelists yesterday, as you'll hear in this, they believe that the Let's Go Brandon dad from the Christmas phone call to Joe Biden should be investigated by the FBI and the CIA. CIA is involved with like foreign spy issues. What do they think, he's a foreign spy? So let's share this. This is really frightening, and I think people need to hear this. And this is not funny. This is a big turning point in this country so far as our freedoms go. Listen to this. Nicole Wallace yesterday talking about the Let's Go Brandon Christmas dad.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, and let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
So you heard there was an Oregon dad, his 4 kids. He's a self-described free-thinking American, a follower of Jesus Christ.
Now I stop it right there. Why does she throw in that he's a Christian? She says it with sarcasm. A follower of Jesus Christ. I'm a follower of Jesus. Are you, Nicole? I don't know. But why is she throwing that out there? Why is she throwing out his religion? Could you imagine? Remember there was that one father who was criticizing Trump during the campaign in 2016, and someone pointed out he was Muslim, and then they like went nuts. Oh, Islamophobe! Why is she mentioning this guy's religion, that he's a Christian? Let's go back and play the whole thing. I'm sorry, guys. I just that was so sure. I love live TV. One of the things that makes these shows awesome is that when live TV, you never know what's going to happen. And you see their true colors. Sometimes something will happen here. I'll say live radio. That's what happens. Live TV. And sometimes when people are live and they're angry, like Nicole Wallace, the blinders come down and you get to hear what they're really all about.
So you heard there was an Oregon dad, his 4 kids. He's a self-described free-thinking American, a follower of Jesus Christ. He called into NORAD's Santa Tracking Center on Christmas Eve. And what he said to President Joe Biden means F Joe Biden in very, very, very thinly coded right-wing lexicon. That grown man, Jared Schmeck, later told the Oregonian that the comment was meant in jest before whining for days now about being attacked for utilizing his freedom of speech. The story could have ended there, though, right? But he went on Steve Bannon's broadcast today, or podcast, whatever he has, and there he was, Jared Schmeck.
Okay, now, if I would love, I hope, Steve Bannon's a very smart man. He is one of the smartest people on the planet. Speaking of Festivus, he made his millions off of Seinfeld. He owns a piece of the Seinfeld show by doing legal work for them. But anyway, so he loves he's probably a big Festivus guy, Steve Bannon. I would love Steve Bannon, as she makes fun of his show, whatever he's got, I would love Steve Bannon to go public with the number of people that watch his program every day and compare that to the ratings of Nicole Wallace on MSNBC. I don't know what the numbers are, but I promise you, Steve Bannon has a much larger audience than Nicole Wallace that she's trying to discount.
Wearing his MAGA hat. Ellis, does this sound like someone who was saying something in jest?
Let's Go Brandon is more than just F. Joe Biden. Let's Go Brandon encompasses the entirety of our frustration with Joe Biden, the administration, the leftist mob, the cancel culture, the mainstream media. They're the ones who made this thing. And we're able, as conservatives, we're able to find humor in this, but there's terrible things going on.
I don't know where to start, but let me tell you why this matters.
Feel better, Jacqueline. I hope you're okay.
Asymmetry has always been what advantages the Trump right more than anything else. And the asymmetry of saying F you to a sitting president on a...
Now, again, he did not say F you to anyone. Okay? He used coded language that means the same thing, but he didn't use the words.
Call in front of your 4 kids. Don't look past this. Don't look at this as a story about giving airtime to a MAGA guy who goes on Steve Bannon's podcast and said, I wasn't joking. Not only did I say, F you, Mr. President, I said more than that. This is the slow motion insurrection.
Wow, see, there you go. There it is. The slow motion insurrection. To criticize Joe Biden is to be a part of an insurrection. See, this is an interesting thing here. An insurrection is an act, something you do. Now, thought, speech is now an insurrection against the government, according to Nicole Wallace. According to Nicole Wallace.
In full color.
Steve Kane Show.
Yeah, Nicole, and here's the thing. There is nothing more entertaining...
Wesley, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Wesley.
Those names I had never heard of 4 days ago saying, I'm canceled, as they're being amplified, right? That's the thing. He wants to complain about cancel culture. Dude, I didn't know who this schmuck was. Like, I didn't know who this guy was 5 days ago, right? Now I know who he is, but he's being canceled. He's going to have T-shirts, and he's going to show up at, like, Turning Point next week or something else like that, giving speeches without Rittenhouse. So that's the hypocrisy of it all. But the more dangerous...
Andrea, $5 super chat. Everyone thank Andrea. Thank you, Andrea.
People are basically just insurrectionists in training now.
Wow. See? Now, you're all insurrectionists now. If you're MAGA, if you say, let's go Brandon, if you're critical of Biden, you're an insurrectionist too. What happened to sticks and stones? But names will never hurt me, right?
Say, look, presidents hear insulting things all the time. People things to the president. That's not the issue. But when these people are speaking, they're not joking. MAGA isn't about taxes. Let's go.
It's not MAGA. It's MAGA. If you're going to attack us, get it right. Or maybe there's another organization called MAGA that he's equally upset with. Maybe they're not talking about MAGA and Trump. Maybe what's this MAGA?
And it isn't about what you feel about supply chain issues and gas. It is the cry of insurrectionists. It is the cry.
Wow. Now, if you complain about the high price of gas, you too are an insurrectionist. Wow.
People who want to violently take over this country and oppress anyone who is not like them. And that's what makes this dangerous. And to the degree that Joe Biden can laugh it off or anything else like that, that's fine. But I hope that we have a Justice Department and an FBI and a CIA that investigates where...
See, there we go. Once the Justice Department, the FBI, which is part of the Justice Department, and the CIA to investigate an American citizen who said, let's go Brandon. And Nicole Wallace is like, well, wait a minute. There's a police state. She's just sitting there. Yeah. Why would you have an intelligence agency investigate an American citizen?
The anger that leads to these kinds of statements comes through because these people have already attacked us with guns. You think they're going to come back and do something less?
Who attacked who with guns? MAGA didn't attack anyone with guns. MAGA was shot dead by a gun. Ashley Babbitt.
Next time, if they feel they can speak this way to the president, I don't think so.
The First Amendment protects what's his name, Schmeck's right to say what he said. I celebrate that.
Oh, we can tell. She's celebrating.
But those rights are in danger by what he said to Steve Bannon, right? Supporting autocracy, he said, Donald Trump is my...
No.
Have those First Amendment protections, and the people who seem to be using the hell out of the First Amendment are the ones who are as sort of tantalized by moving away from the democracy that provides those freedoms. Is that too late way to look at it? I mean, do you think any of them understand the irony of that, Claire?
This whole thing I find incredibly sad. This was Christmas Eve. And this is a man who purports to believe in Jesus Christ. Well, this is a holiday that is supposed to be completely saturated with the notion of joy and peace on earth and goodwill towards men and the teachings of Jesus Christ, which is all about taking care of among us and the golden rule and being kind to others. And this man, knowing what would happen on national television in a call, says F you to the sitting president who is trying to lift him up on Christmas Eve and his children. That's just sad.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad. The liberals are now defending Christmas. They've been trying to take Christmas out of our society for 20, 25 years. Now they're the defenders of it. Biden saved Christmas. Now they don't want Christmas dishonored. Oh, man, don't complain about gas. Those gas prices, if you complain, you too are an insurrectionist, according to Nicole Wallace's panel. Greg, too.
Yes, Brian. How are you doing today?
All right.
Good. Listen, I want to first preface my discussion with you. I spoke to Ian, your travel. Impressive. We had a lengthy conversation about cruises, etc., and I just want to give a shout out to Ian because he's an impressive individual.
Oh, good. Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. That's correct. Our travel agent for our cruises.
Yeah, and any other travel requirements someone may...
Well, leave the spots to me, Greg. Now that you've said something nice, get to the real reason you called.
All right. Listen, Brian. First of all, I don't know why they're throwing out Joe Biden there so much when his cognitive, disabilities are apparent, and they have him out there almost every day at some event doing something, exposing himself. But if you were that caller, father of four, and you believe in Jesus Christ, our Savior, correct?
Of course.
Right. Would you be... Jesus Christ is about forgiveness. It's praying for others and their benefit. Would you behave in that same fashion if you were that gentleman?
I don't know. I don't understand what one has to do with the other. If there's anybody on, let me tell you, this guy we have disrespects our church, our religion every day. He promotes himself as a practicing Catholic his entire life, and he is pro-choice, which you cannot be. He dishonors us by receiving Holy Communion, which he is not supposed to be doing. Okay? He dishonors us by calling himself a Christian, calling himself a Catholic, and supporting that. And that's just the least of his problems. He was also paying for his son's prostitutes, according to Miranda Devine's book. I mean, is he a godly man? His credit cards were used to pay Russian hookers.
I'm not talking about Joe Biden being, I'm talking about you. You're like, as a Christian / I'm a Catholic / Christian, I embrace both.
There is nothing that guy did that is in conflict with Christianity.
When you say, you know what he said to the President of the United States, whether you agree with his policies, whether he's this degenerate, you ask for him to get better.
Respect is something that is earned.
Have you done it? You won't answer that one question. What have you done it if you were on the phone with him, with your wife and daughter? Would have you done that?
Probably not.
Why?
Because look at what's happening. They're talking about an FBI, CIA, Justice Department investigation into this man's life. And I would probably not want to put my family through that type of corruption from the government. Look at what they're doing to people. Because they managed Trump's campaign, they put him in prison.
Oh, Wallace, way too much power, my friend.
She's on NBC News. She's on NBC News.
She's on MSNBC,
which is part of NBC News, like CNBC.
Her viewership is limited at best. People don't abide by.
She's very well connected. She came up through the ranks through John McCain. And John McCain is, by the way, the man who was first given the fake Russian dossier and turned it over to J. Edgar Comey. So she is not fringe. She is very well connected to the Republican, never Trumper, rhino, rats, Republicans against Trump group of people. No.
Hear your prediction. Is he ever going to be prosecuted? Let's hear it.
He's harassed like Joe the plumber. Joe the plumber was harassed. They went and got his sealed divorce records and published them, which is a crime. This guy's been threatened and harassed all over social media. He's being called out on NBC News by name. I haven't said his name.
Once again, by MAGA, like their behavior on the Capitol.
That wasn't MAGA. And what do you mean you? I thought you were part of us. Now you're saying your behavior? All right, we got a break for the bottom of the hour. A little slip there. He pretends to be us, and then he says you're. Like he's not part of MAGA. Hey, little slip. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling an appointment in a timely manner, we can step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need, they haven't seen their doctor, they haven't seen their nurse, they can actually call you and you'll contact the hospital for them?
Absolutely. We act as your family. We'll step up, we'll call the nurses station and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they do not have to be
All right, take care, Gregory.
an existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this, right?
Oh, of course not. No, we're here for any assistance in any way. We don't need to be your insurance agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course. We'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing that you have an experienced, compassionate advocate just a touch of a button away.
To learn more, call Debbie's office. The number, 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve, you with us?
I am with you.
Oh.
I got to get something off my... Unbelievable. You are absolutely right to be terrified.
Oh, yeah.
How extensive is the circulation of this talking point? I'm going to call it, for purposes of communication, the insurrection.
Oh, with the call?
Prevalent is it?
It is. It's being neutered a little bit because, holiday time. But in liberal circles, it's their water cooler talk. It's the water cooler talk of liberals in media, on social media, on TV, all over the place. Now, scary. Man, it is.
They're desperate. They're like a cornered animal. But striking out in this way is really dangerous if it catches on. The one thing that really puts this into perspective, and I saw them rerun this footage. Actually, I think for a rare occasion, I was watching CNN.
They've been running it a lot on CNN, even, which they've been covering it up.
It's just terrifying if this thing gets out of hand like that, because you were exactly right. The thing I was going to say about the perspective, they showed Robert De Niro,
yep,
the Academy Awards, when he stood up, and he didn't use the initials, he used the word, and he just said, Joe.
Oh. Or Trump. Yeah. On network television, mind you. On network television.
Using the word.
Yeah.
He got a standing ovation.
Which is a crime.
Yes. You compare that happening with this, it's no contest. But somehow the liberals felt there was no threat involved when De Niro did it to Trump.
Let me play you another clip on it, Steve. Now that one with Nicole Wallace was a long one. That was MSNBC, right? This is CNN. It's a little shorter. This is CNN. Listen.
Don't know is slang for F Joe Biden. Ron, the president is trying to be nice to kids. He doesn't really have to do this. They were very pleasant. What does it tell you that somebody is rude like that and disrespects the office of the president to his face?
Like Robert De Niro.
Political climate in this country.
Yeah, look, it's ungracious, it's juvenile, it's reprehensible by the father, but I don't think it's fundamentally about incivility. I think it is fundamentally about insurrection.
There, that's CNN. So 2 of them. Yeah. See, it's everywhere. Criticism. Now, speech and you went to the same high school as President Kennedy. You have an extensive vocabulary. I went to Stranahan High School during crackhead school. Okay, insurrection is an action, isn't it? It's not words and thought. Isn't it insurrection and action? You have to do something. Yet now words and thought are now an insurrection against the government, according to CNN and MSNBC.
But it's just that they're out of defenses, is what the problem is. They have no. They would love to take Trump on like Trump takes them on. They would love to be able to point to Biden's accomplishments, but when you can't find one, and this has come to light in some of these discussions, they can't find one thing that Biden has been successful at. I mean, that tells you a lot, and this is their last resort, the insurrection talking point.
Yeah.
And it is very beyond scary.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? I'll tell you what's scary about it is it's a shift. If these were like some fringe lunatics somewhere, like the Air America radio days, the Randy Rhoads types, okay. This is CNN, and MSNBC is NBC News. So these are 2 mainstream news sources of record that are now saying complaining about gas prices is insurrection. That's what they said on MSNBC. This is a big shift in tone. And both CNN and Nicole Wallace are very well connected to the Washington establishment. This tells you there's a big change in our federal government as to how they look at people who disagree with the government. I mean, they look at us like if you're complaining about gas prices, you're Tim McVeigh now. That's how it sounds, huh?
How do you criticize a guy like this that stands and makes a joke? It is a joke. I mean, the thing, let's go Biden.
It was funny. And he got Biden to say it. And he got Biden to even say it. Let me play it. This is...
part for them.
Well, we don't have time to... We got to take our last break of the day. We'll be back with the Gold Report, all right? Don't go anywhere. It's the Steve Kane Show. You sound all better now. You've been under the weather.
Yes, I'm feeling much better.
I'm better. You're better. Everyone's better. And let's find out how the metals are doing after the break. We'll be right back.
Do you want immune advice from a licensed professional with 30 plus years experience? Someone who's counseled thousands of clients, developed nutrient formulas, and is available at no charge. That's me, Janet Cimarelli, licensed nutrition counselor. Call me at AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at Festival Marketplace for your free counseling appointment. 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show. Just search for W.
All right, we are back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated, right here in Boca, with the morning gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that I can tell by the tone. The metals must be looking good.
The metals are looking great. Yes, indeed. We saw a nice close above 1,800 again yesterday, closing up $2.70 at $1,811.90. Silver closed above $23 an ounce at $23.05, up 19 cents yesterday, while platinum was up $1 at $9.72, and palladium gained $24 at $1,910. This morning, gold up nicely again at $1,820 the ounce. That's about $8.10 up. Silver up 35 cents at $23.41 the ounce. Platinum up $16 at $988, and palladium up $28 at $1,938. So the metals are continuing to build a strong base above $1,800 for gold, and looks like we may be staying above $23 for silver, which is a big. Inflation is kicking in more and more as we see the concerns about that, and the concerns about a very high stock market. Money is looking for some place to go, and probably the safest place right now is the.
Well, with inflation, everything's going up. That means the metals are going up. And the only, with your dollar going down, it's a great place to put your money in the metals. Now, of course, you don't just sell the metals, you buy them. What are some things that people can call you up about or stop in that are made of the metals that they can turn into money or maybe coins?
Well, it's amazing how many people are selling their things like sterling silver flatware sets, things that they just don't use anymore. They're clutter. They're things that they take up space. They don't use them, so they are turning in those things. We buy them all the time. We buy just about anything made out of the precious metals, from jewelry that's broken or to jewelry that you just don't wear. It might be beautiful and usable, but you're not wearing it anymore. Turn it into either cash or into a form of tradable precious metals that you can enjoy and also protect your financial security with. Anything that doesn't eat.
Yeah, and when it comes to jewelry, even like old jewelry that might be out of fashion, right? People can bring that in too. Now listen. Now this week the hours are a little different. Open up regular hours through Thursday, closing early on Friday. But the regular hours, they open at 10 a.m. You can give them a call at 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. The address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. Pretty much anything that doesn't eat. That's a good one, Steve. I like that. All right, well, our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. There's another clip I wanted to play, Steve. It's related to this, but it's the January 6th. They're confusing two things, right? There was a Trump rally in Washington the day of the Capitol breach, and many people, Alex Jones, Roger Stone, and others, invited followers of theirs, listeners of theirs, to meet them in Washington. Now, if you had an event in Washington, or you invited people to meet you in Washington, now you're part of the Capitol breach. Listen to this. This is Jake Tapper yesterday on CNN.
The money in our politics lead today. New records show that the House committee investigating the Capitol riot is now demanding bank records in an effort to figure out exactly how two rallies held on January 6th leading up to the insurrection were funded.
Okay, so those are the people like Roger Stone and Alex Jones. They had rallies. Now they're confusing that and saying that they funded the insurrection. Listen.
What's the point of figuring out who paid for the rallies? The rallies themselves are not being investigated. It's what happened at the Capitol.
Well, you can't look at one without the other. I mean, this is why you have things such as racketeering. When you look at who's financing projects, what happens in the middle and the end result. And so by digging up and going to find out who financed the rallies, who paid for the buses, who paid for the robocalls, who paid for the radio ads, these individuals who actually paid for this rally, which led to an insurrection, they paid for this coup.
Wow. See, I mean, this is... we were talking a week or two ago about how this is not the same country that it was a year and a half ago, and a lot of people in the audience, I thought they thought you and I were kind of like hyping that up. You listen to these clips today from CNN and MSNBC. This is all from yesterday that I played you this morning. I've never heard talk like this in the United States, Steve. I've never heard talk like this. This is like Joe McCarthy times 1,000.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, and see, and that's they're going to get some mileage out of that when these hearings happen. And what they're doing, what the media is doing, is conditioning the public to accept what the January 6th committee is going to say, right? They're saying these things right now so that when they start doing it in the committee, that people will be like accepting, oh yeah, I heard Tapper talking about that a couple months ago. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. Well, we'll survive it, but it's going to be a rough time. It really is. And, what's really going to trigger this, Steve, is when the Trump rallies start, when he's campaigning for the midterms with congressional candidates. That's when they're really going to come unhinged. I know.
To hope that, the media will continue the high level that they've conducted themselves on so far. Get away with it. Not Biden. No one is sticking up for Joe Biden anymore. Thank the Lord.
Well, I was surprised. As much as there's an interesting thing going on with that. I was talking earlier in the show. CNN has been doing a lot of coverage the last few days attacking Biden, talking about his failure on COVID. And for CNN to say that the sitting Democrat president is a failure is unheard of. A lot of people will see that and say, well, of course he's a failure. No, Democrats are always failures. CNN would never say that about Clinton, Obama, or any other Democrat. And now here they are with Joe Biden. And as we're going into this midterm election year,
Line of succession. How do you get there in that Democratic Party that is basically out of control? I mean, to accuse people.
Yeah.
It's really terrifying. But we have to, the media has stayed, the coverage, you must admit, has been, for the polls to be what they are, the coverage has been pretty fair up till now. You have to.
Yeah.
You just have to hope that continues.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's going to be next year is good. I know every election people say this is the most important election of our life. Next year it's certainly the most important election that we're going to be living through next year because it's the only one. And when Trump starts his rallies and 50,000 people show up here, and then at night another 50,000, and then on Sunday he does it again, that's when you're really going to see the meltdowns happen. If they would just ride out Trump, it'd be much easier for them. I mean, they just can't let it happen. They just cannot let it happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They have cause to be concerned about the strength of Donald Trump as a candidate.
Yeah. Well, listen, before we go, though, I want to tell everyone, any lab tests now of Boca and any lab tests now of Coral Springs, they do all the COVID testing that you need. And I know I was tested this week. Your son was tested yesterday, Steve. My mother got tested yesterday. And, I know you see these stories on the TV of long lines of people waiting for COVID testing. At any lab test now of Coral Springs and any lab test now of Boca, no appointment necessary. They're open Monday through Saturday. You just walk right in and out in just a few minutes. In fact, I know you told me, you said your son was getting ready to go get COVID tested, and before I knew it, he was back with his negative result. I mean, it's very quick. They do whatever COVID test you need, they do it at any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs. They even have the non-invasive PCR test, which is a saliva test. And when we go on our cruise next month, we've got to do COVID testing before I'm going over there to get mine at any lab test now with Boca. Steve's spot is any lab test now with Coral Springs because that's closer to him. Now, there are lots of any lab test nows around, but only any lab test now with Coral Springs and Boca Raton advertise on the most pro-Donald Trump radio show on the planet, the Steve Kane Show. So don't use the rest. Just use these two. Now, all of our sponsors are listed at stevekaneshow.com. If you go there, you'll see on our new website, Steve's holding a glass of champagne. There's a button there to our sponsor page. Any lab test now of Coral Springs, obviously in Coral Springs, on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, over by the Coral Square Mall. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is. South of Palmetto, north of Hillsborough, on the east side of 441. When you stop in, make sure you tell them you heard them on the Steve Kane Show. And remember, they give you a printout with your result. You can take it to work. You can take it to the airport. You can take it to the port or to the party that your family won't let you into unless you show them the test result. They print it out. They give it right to you on the spot. They have same-day PCR testing, and they also have the instant rapid testing, too. So stop on in and make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio. Well, that's it, Steve. We're out of time. You want to sign us off?
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us. We invite you to return tomorrow.
Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location. And
all right, guys. Hey, listen. Great show today. Thanks, everyone, for your support. I feel so much better now that I'm over this cold. Oh, my goodness. Hopefully, my wife will let me off the couch tonight. I want to get back on my MyPillow mattress topper and my MyPillow sheets. I've got the MyPillow on the couch, which helps a lot, but sleeping on the couch is not the same thing as sleeping on that MyPillow mattress topper. That is for sure. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you in a bit. And make sure you check out Chaplain Jethro's Facebook group. It's a very good Christian group. I was in there last night. It was the first time I was in there. And it was pretty awesome. So check it out, guys, on Facebook. You can just copy and paste and put it in the Facebook search bar. It'll come up. All right, take care. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like the video before you